Well, you ask me what I like about Texas. It's blue bonnets and Indian paintbrushes, swimming in the sacred waters of Barton Springs. It's body surfing the Frio. It's Saturday night in Del Rio. Crossing over the border for some cultural exchange. It's another burrito, that's what it is. It's a cold, long star in my hand. It's a quarter for the jukebox boys play the sons of the mother-loving bunkhouse band. You ask me what I like about Texas. Well, honey, I could tell you, but we would be here all night long. That's okay?
What's up, everybody? It's the middle of the day, the middle of the week, and you're listening to another Fuller Show with Josh Fuller. You're on KTXF, The Real.
If you've had an accident or just a fender bender, the last thing you need to do is tangle with the big city. When Classic Auto Group Collision Center can take care of all your repairs, island style, our certified technicians can repair any make or model, and we back up every repair with a lifetime warranty. Classic Auto Group Collision Center, now open at 6601 Harborside Drive, ClassicGalveston.com.
Classic Galveston, enjoy the difference, island style.
Hey everybody, it's Josh Fuller. It's the middle of the day in the middle of the week in the great state of Texas on a beautiful sunny day. I just told y'all it's the middle of the week, and then I'm trying to throw Sunday in there. No, it's the middle of the week, which means it's Wednesday if you're listening to us live here on KTXF The Real. And it is the middle of the day, but it is a sunny day, which is good because we've had some pretty dreary weather. And in studio with me is my buddy Randy. What's going on, man?
Oh, man, not much. Yeah, it's getting to be a regular occurrence, man.
Yeah, we're going to have to start introducing you as my co-host, maybe.
Who knows, man? It's all good.
Well, the good thing is that every time we get together, we have a lot to talk about, and that's important in talk radio.
Yeah, it kind of makes it, move along a little bit.
Yeah, so, man, the weather was kind of killer last week, and apparently we've all survived it.
Yeah, it was a bit brutal there for a while.
It was, man. This time last week, I was sick as a dog. I still have a little bit of that problem, but not as a dog, maybe puppy. But
yeah.
But then after the show, we had to go play another show at Pacific Yard House, and we, for the first time, live streamed it. And you brought in a whole bunch of gear and freaked out some of the managers. So.
Yeah, I did. And then I was there the next night doing
with Caleb. How'd that go?
Homegrown. It went awesome.
Did you do the multi-camera thing, or did you just do
it was
one?
just a single cam for now because of the space in the venue. We're still working out some details as far as how much gear and where to put it and everything else, because it's not a huge venue, but it's there's enough space there. I don't want to take table space away, for people coming in wanting to eat. And,
it's a restaurant and music venue first, and then we get to do what we do around them.
Exactly. So. And then I made my, from when I brought in, when we did your live stream, I had it in a large box, and then I went and picked up a smaller box and crammed, 10 pounds of crap in a 5-pound box.
It's always fun when you can downsize, yeah.
Make it, totable.
Totable. That's a good word. I like totable. It's a new word.
Yeah, it's a new word.
We'll put that in the Urban Dictionary for next year. Totable. But yeah, so it was still, there was still ice. There was still ice for like 2 days after that.
It was.
And then it got up to 61 the next day and started thawing out. And it's still, I guess it was just a deep enough freeze that some of that ice stayed in between the grooves of the roofs for a while. It was great.
There was stuff up, I live out in the country, and so I got like 5 acres out in the woods, and so there was ice still on the ground on the north side of the trees. Or,
Yeah.
You know, we're, you know, in the shade for days.
It was pretty. I mean, it was cool to be able to kind of walk out for a few days here and there and still see white.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get to do that around here very often, but most people listening to this know that already. So, well, welcome everybody. I hope wherever you are today, it's a good day and that y'all are having fun. And I hope that we can provide a little break from real life for a little while. If you're sitting in a cubicle somewhere and you got your earbuds in, maybe we can, help you escape your confines for a while, and you can forget that you're surrounded by walls and stuff. But and we're gonna play some good music today. I have a new segment that I'm gonna try to add, and we're gonna try it out today. And we're just gonna. We don't have an exact topic today. That's why it's it's a shooting match. It's a shoot show because you never know where it's gonna go, and we leave it up to the powers that be, which is not us. It's just the universe. The universe guides us on our.
Yeah, we'll start
path.
off on something, and we'll figure it out from there.
Exactly.
We're both. You've been in the business for a long time. I've been in different parts of the business for a long time.
Yeah,
so,
we got plenty to talk about.
There's always something to talk about in music, and especially in Texas music, and
true.
with everything we got going on here. That's for sure.
Yeah, and if you want to provide any information or just be a part of the conversation, you can text us at 832-910-7359. 832-910-7359. And this show is brought to you by the KTXF The Reel, and you can find them on Facebook. But reel is spelled with 2 E's, like a fishing reel or a movie reel. So if you're searching for it and you type and you know how to spell the right way and you type REAL, you won't find it. So
And it's on your TuneIn app and all of that good
yeah,
stuff. So
you can
it's
listen
easy to find.
live.
Yeah, and you can go to the website on the TuneIn website or whatever, your portable device, your desktop, you name it, you can get it. And then you also, if you can't finish listening to the show today, you got to go to a meeting or whatever. You can always tune in at any time when you put the podcast up on just about any format that's out there on. I think it's on iTunes and everything else now, right?
I got it on. I uploaded to SoundCloud first, so SoundCloud listeners get to hear it first, and then Spreaker from there distributes it to iTunes, and then YouTube as well. So you can go to YouTube and listen. I mean, there's nothing to look at, but you can see it or hear it. Mm-hmm. And I think it's got my picture, so I guess there is something to look at. But sorry, it's not much to look at. It's just me. But
it's just a really long one shot.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get gigs out of the way here. Tonight we're doing our. It's a songwriter showcase, but unfortunately for right now, since we're at the beginning of it, the only songwriter we're showcasing is myself. And so. We're at Pacific Yard House in downtown Conroe, Texas. You guys can come out, have a good meal. They've got crawfish. I see a lot of other people are having crawfish now, so I guess they're finally coming in. But a lot of people have told me that they're small. But when I saw the ones at Pacific, they're not small. They're good.
Yeah,
good size.
Yeah, they were decent size. I heard a couple of people say they were, a little small. But it's still early in the year. They'll get bigger. They'll be like mini lobsters real soon. So.
Yeah, there you go. Does that mean they're huge at the end of the season? Probably not, huh?
No, they're somewhere in the middle of their biggest, I guess.
Me too. Somewhere in the middle of my life. Well, no, I'm at the biggest I ever was, and I'm at the middle of my life. So I was a lot smaller when I was younger. I guess we all were. But
oh, yeah. It comes and goes, man.
It's time for me to get smaller again. But I don't mean like osteoporosis small. I just want to lose the belly. I don't need my bones getting smaller or anything like that.
That's there's always something that you're going to lose. It's either hair or...
But you don't lose hair; it just relocates.
It just relocates.
Yeah,
believe me.
It goes in the head and out the ears. Yeah,
that's that errant. What the hell?
Yeah, that's the only problem with hair. But yeah, no, I mean nothing's permanent, right? We all know that. We all know what happens. But what I was gonna say? Oh yeah, so Pacific Yard House tonight, 7 to 10. If people stay, 7 to 9. If people don't, it's been funny. The last couple of weeks, people come in for their meal, and then I'll play 2 hours straight, and then I take a break, and then they're all closing their checks. So there's nobody to play to when I come back from break. They all close their tab, and they're like, done. We had our food, we got our fill, we're fat and happy, and kids have school tomorrow, so we're heading out. So we're still adjusting times. Maybe we'll have to start at 6:30 and go to 9 sometime instead.
Yeah,
but
you always learn.
Oh, Mike and them over there are so flexible too. Yeah, he's just like, man, come on, man. We're working on this thing together. We're trying to create something new. This isn't just another, hey, we have an acoustic gig on Wednesdays. We're actually trying to turn this into something a little more special than that, so that we can draw some attention to it, and then also spotlight other singers, songwriters, people coming through town, routing, doing it as a routing gig, and probably doing some interviews beforehand eventually. And I got a lot of friends in the area that I'd like to play, but I also want to get some of those people passing through that you might just not expect to show up on an acoustic show on a Wednesday in Conroe.
No doubt. And then, you got some proximity clauses and stuff like that, and with some of the other venues. But, it's, if they're playing on the south side, I bet you can still get them up here for at least like an acoustic show or something, and not, shape anybody's butt and all that. Some of them venues are kind of crazy on their proximity stuff, though.
Yeah, there's several that are, and I guess it depends on who's playing and all that. They don't want to oversaturate, but But I know some of our local guys, like I know Caleb came in, but Caleb can draw, so he can he can get away with it. But he came in, he played Pacific Yard House on a Thursday night, and then on Saturday played another venue right there in downtown Conroe and packed out both places. So and he's got the power to pull,
Certainly.
His fans aren't sick of him yet.
No, not yet. And I went and seen what was it, Heather Island on Saturday night.
Heather Raylene,
Raylene over at Cole Smokehouse. It was a good show.
So I've known her for years, but I've only played with her acoustic, and so I don't even know what she looks or sounds like with a full band, and that's a shame because I've just been busy all of a sudden.
The full band was pretty
rocking.
All right. It was outdoor on the outdoor stage out there, and that's a nice new venue out here. And it's East County, but as we call it,
East County
over in Splendora. But it's nice, and the food's good too, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, I like outdoor gigs the best. They have just a good vibe.
Yeah.
And on water. Now you add water to it, and it's even better. I'll play any gig on water any day,
anytime.
Yep. Yeah. Have I told you the story about playing on the water, not in the water, or not by the water?
Yeah, I haven't heard that one yet.
So we got a private party one time, and they put a plywood on top of a jacuzzi to cover the jacuzzi, and so we sat up to play on top of the jacuzzi. It was acoustic, so it wasn't a whole band, but we sat up on top of the plywood on top of the jacuzzi, and then the pool was between us and the crowd or the party, and it looked kind of cool. But the whole time you're thinking, man, I just fall through this plywood at any time with all this electrical equipment, just right into the jacuzzi,
There was a venue in Florida. The stage, the backdrop was the Gulf of Mexico on the beach, and then there's a pool. And then you can be in the pool for the concert.
All right, great. Yeah. Well, Papa's on the Lake has that too. I don't know if you pay extra or whatever for that, but well, they don't have it. So on a regular show day at Papa's on the Lake, the pool doesn't see the stage. But when we do Fire Up the Bands, the big benefit concert we do every year out there, they put the stage out by the waterfall, and so then the people in the pool can see the show. Right, and that's great, dude. I think everybody should be in a swimming pool in the summer in Texas, in bikinis, watching the show.
It does make a difference, yeah.
I mean, that's the perks of living in Texas. That's where all the hottest women are, and and swimming pools and bikinis. Yeah. All right, we'll scratch that before my wife hears it.
Mine too.
Well, you did a good job. You kept your mouth shut. You're just over here going, I'm not playing with that fire.
See how far
you put your own logs in the fire, buddy. No, man, it's all good. But I'm glad you're here.
Oh, it's good to be here, man. This is always a lot of fun. We always come up with something to talk about, and like we said, in Texas music, there's always something going on, and there's lots of great playlists and just great new music almost every day. There's somebody putting something new out, a new single, an EP, or a whole full album. And
I think we're going to talk a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about that today, and we're gonna do a new segment with the Texas Music Pickers. We're gonna use some information from their website. We're trying to get them lined up to come down and be a part of it, but we're probably gonna have to do a pre-recorded thing just because of their commitment to what they're doing and my inability to travel at the moment to do the live show. At least I can travel to do podcasts and recorded stuff, but for right now, until I get a laptop sponsor, I can't really.
Well, so maybe we can work on. I gotta
really travel.
I probably have enough stuff to do remote
Yeah. All it has to do is have Windows on it, and it can't crash, and it can't try to do an update right before the show.
Yeah, we can take care of that.
With a good internet connection. And then we can travel and do the show live anywhere, anytime. That'll be good. That'll be real good. So, hey, welcome to the show, everybody. And this is episode 10. We've made it a tenth of the way to episode 100. So,
Dang.
yeah, it sounds like I'm sticking to this.
Yeah,
sounds
I think you are, man. I think you are.
It might work out. So now we just got to do the hard task of getting sponsors and all that good stuff. So that's fun. But I think once you get the 10 episodes in, we're sticking around. We're not going anywhere. So
I think there's enough good content, and they got a good idea of what this is all about and all the good information we can provide. And I think the people will get on board here real soon.
I think so, too. So why don't we play some music from my friends here? We're going to start off with the Captain Legendary Band, and then we're going to come back and talk to you guys about some cool stuff, and we're going to visit the TexasMusicPickers.com website when we get back. We'll see y'all in just a minute.
I'm on a train bound for nowhere. Was Baton Rouge about 5 days ago. I'm on a train bound for nowhere. Was Baton Rouge about 5 days ago. Oh well, I guess I missed a stop. It don't matter. I ain't got no way to go. Oh, last time I remember was Houston, and the girl on the way that was so fine. Oh, last time I remember was Houston, and the girl on the way that was so fine. Oh, but she left me down in Beaumont and left me to roll that rail line. Oh, I'm rolling that railway, just smoking all that sweet vine. Yeah, I'm rolling that railway, just smoking all that sweet vine. 'Cause on the train bound for nowhere, you sure do lose your track of time. I'm on a train bound for nowhere. Was San Antonio about 2 days ago. I'm on a train bound for nowhere. Was San Antonio about 2 days ago. Oh well, I guess I missed a stop. It don't matter. I ain't got nowhere to go. Oh well, I guess I missed a stop. It don't matter. I ain't got nowhere to go. 'Cause on the train bound for nowhere, it sure makes time move slow. Many times I've been told that old gal ain't got no soul. She'll chew you up, spit you out, leave you, boy, there ain't no doubt. Well, the men say she's mean, that side of her I ain't never seen. Little sugar, a lot of spice, a little naughty, a little nice. She's my little butterbean, the cutest thing you ever seen. Oh, my little Texas queen, she's my little butterbean. but she was the devil's one and only child. Don't believe it, not one word, there ain't one thing I ever heard. Will never change the way I feel, girl's got me head over heels. She's my little butterbane, the cutest thing you ever seen. Oh, my little Texas queen, she's my little butterbane. She's my little butterbane, the cutest thing you ever seen. Oh, my little Texas queen, she's my little butterbane. Well, I chased you plumb to Timbuktu. She's known from Fort Worth to Abilene and every roadhouse in between. She's as hot as cakes on a griddle. That girl goes wild when Bo hits the fiddle. She loves to swing and do-si-do. Oh, that's why I love her so. She's my little butterbane, the cutest thing you ever seen. Oh, my little Texas queen, she's my little butterbane. She's my little butterbane, the cutest thing you ever seen. Oh, my little Texas queen, she's my little butterbane.
Down, make you cry if I wanted to. Not saying that I would, but that's a thought you should hold on to. If you dish it out, don't be surprised if it's returned. You better watch yourself, or honey, you'll get burned. I can't blame it on Jack, blame it on Jen, blame it on.
difference at Classic Galveston.
Hi, I'm Howie Bentley, owner of Classic Auto Group Galveston, inviting you to the classic way of doing business, which means the customer always comes first. Need service after the sale? We've got you covered with our service parts and body shop. Let us cater to your needs the classic way, island style. Visit us at ClassicGalveston.com.
Classic Galveston, enjoy the difference, island style.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Oh man, I just had a welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Yeah, if you
Hey,
get that reference, you're a little older.
I'm a little older, yeah. Hey, this is Josh Fuller. How's everybody doing? That's Randy Young over there helping me out again today. He helps me. He bails me out to give me a chance at doing this thing. This is a lot of fun for me, but it's a lot more fun when you have someone in the room with you, hanging out and talking back to you. Get that instant gratification we talked about a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah, back talk you too. Yeah,
Yeah, and
don't let your
talk.
kids do it. So
Right. Those kids, no. So we had my 8-year-old finally had his first baseball practice back for the spring season, and he's on a tournament team called Conroe Chaos, and they're about to get it hard and heavy. They've only got about 3 weeks to get ready for the first tournament, and then they're going to play 2 tournaments a month for the next several months until summer hits. They'll play 50 to 60 games.
Jeez.
It's hardcore.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see these 8-year-olds out there working like high schoolers. I mean, the practices are big. They're real intense, and they're using paddles instead of gloves, so they can't cheat. You can't cheat and just glove the ball. You got to actually, catch it with 2 hands. It's a lot of fun to watch, man. It's a lot of fun to watch. But so we want to introduce a new segment this week, and if it goes well, we'll keep doing it. There's a lot of people out there, like Randy mentioned, that are doing a lot with the music, but there's also a lot of people behind the scenes that are trying to promote it. We used to have the chart, and series of unfortunate events that had to go away. And it's
it's
hard,
been a while too.
Yeah, it has been a while, and it was hard to figure out how anything could ever replace that. But there's several groups out there of people that are doing their best to bring light to the Texas music scene and tell everybody what's going on and give people a chance for extra promotion. And one of those groups of people are the Texas Music Pickers. And so they are out of Huntsville, Texas, and it's 3 of them. I think it's still 3 of them. And I haven't seen an update that says it's not.
Yeah, I think it's just the 3 guys, but they got a couple
One girl.
contribute-
No, one girl and 2 guys.
And, one girl, 2 guys, and
2 guys and a girl.
Yeah.
Is that a TV show or?
No.
Maybe it will be. Maybe it will be. No, what they have is they have Chris Fox and Steve Fox, and then they have Kelly Sims, according to their bio here on Facebook. But I encourage, if you love Texas music at all, whether it's the old stuff or the new stuff, or in everything in between, go to TexasMusicPickers.com, and they got a lot of cool information. And I was scrolling through their website this last couple of days, and that's when I was like, man, this is a good source to try to pass along to Texas music fans, to get some information off of. And I don't want my whole show to be just stuff that they wrote. I don't want that. But it is a great thing for getting topics and kind of seeing what's out there, because they're out there traveling the roads every weekend, seeing all these bands. They'll see a couple bands a night and getting to know them, and they know the music. They have Spotify playlists for all these musics, the new music and all these artists. They also have they vote on new singles. I've had a couple singles on their voting thing before, and if you win, then they just spotlight it more and they give you more attention to it and put it on their playlist. And that gives you spins on Spotify, which eventually maybe you can earn your 70 cents or $7.
Yeah,
But the good news is that if you only make $7 though, that song's been listened to over 1,000 times. So that's good.
Yeah.
It's still great exposure. It's just not good money, but it's still great exposure. We can talk about Spotify and all that another day, but
they're still those new platforms and the streaming music and all of that. They're still trying to figure it out.
They are. They're trying to figure it out.
It's crazy with the technology and figuring out how people are listening to music.
Yeah, the consumption of it,
and the consumption of it, and what the trends will be, and what they. It's ever evolving at this point.
It is.
Like we've talked about in the past. With traditional radio is one thing, but people, I still listen to radio, but I can always, I can hit my own playlist and the music I bought or Spotify or whatever. So.
Right. Well, and everybody just consumes it differently, and luckily a lot of people can sit in there. Used to, you had to listen to whatever your place of employment played in the background. But now there's a lot of places letting people with their earbuds, and they can have their phone and they can listen to whatever they want to listen to while they're working, as long as they're productive. And it gives people a chance to tune in when they normally wouldn't be able to, you
Certainly.
know. And everybody's stimulated differently. You know, when I'm working, I like to listen to podcasts and comedy, but not everybody can function that way. Some people just need to have music and they need it blaring. Some people need it as background music. You know, everybody consumes it differently and at different times and in different ways. And we'll definitely explore that a little bit more as we go.
Yeah, well,
that could be a whole show.
That's a whole show in itself, or maybe a whole series of shows.
Right. And I got, you know, we all have different opinions on it. And the problem with my opinions is I'll say something that's my opinion, and then I'll immediately go, I can't think that way. Why could I think that way? So I'm my own worst enemy and my own devil's advocate when it comes to a lot of that stuff. And I'm easily influenced either side. So I guess I'm sitting directly on the fence. I could fall either way at any minute.
Hey, it's not a bad place to be. You just take the best of whatever comes your way.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, man, I encourage everybody to go check out the Texas Music Pickers website, because it has it just has a lot of information. It's got information on who's got cutting singles, who's in the studio. I know Katie Key with the Key Music News is now doing some work with them and posting blogs on there. And Katie only works with the people that she believes in. You know, she was part of the original deal back in the day. She knows how it's supposed to go, and if she's working with them, you know, that they're legit people. And,
yeah, for sure. She's got a long history in the Texas music scene and been writing and being around people. And I know she's, you know, does other things besides, you know, this contributing and stuff. She has, you know, other businesses and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
managing bands now.
Yeah,
not mine. I've been begging her to manage my band.
She ought to. I mean,
I would think so. But I begged her, but she's got other irons in the fire.
Yeah,
but we still love her because she's awesome. So here's some kind of stuff that you'll find on Texas Music Pickers. We've seen it every year where you'll hear a venue in town will say the Urban Cowboy Reunion, you know?
Yeah.
And those guys are not getting any younger. We know that. Mickey Gilley just had a bad accident.
Yeah, I know. He rolled his car like 3 times.
Yeah, and broke his collarbone and all this other stuff. But the show must go on, even for him.
He's already playing shows again.
Well, yeah. So here's what you get to know. So if you're a fan of classic country, we just heard about a tour you'll be interested in. Music Row is reporting that Mickey Gilley and Johnny Lee are going to reunite for a tour called the Urban Cowboy Reunion Tour, which in Texas, that's nothing new for us. They've been doing it. But I guess it's making the headlines now. They got a bigger publicist putting it in more places now.
Yeah,
it's a bigger deal.
They do. Have to.
And so the tour starts January 26th, which is this week. Is that not right?
Yeah, that's this week. Yeah. This weekend, I think they're either starting it here or in Branson, one of the two.
No, they're starting at the Redneck Country Club.
They're going to start that one.
Oh, yeah, they are. Because that's right. Mickey actually called Michael Berry on his way to the doctor. At first, they made it sound like the hospital, but no, it was after he had been checked out. But he was on his way to the doctor, and he said, "Don't worry, Michael. I'm still going to play the show, even if I got to sit down the whole time." You know, and what's funny about that is he kind of does now anyway. He's got those 2 hot little girls that stand next to him, sing background vocals, and then they help him stand up, and he sings a song, and they help him sit down, and he flirts with them all night, and nothing's changed. It's awesome.
No,
I love that show.
It is a great show,
So they're going to start in Stafford, Redneck Country Club, and then they're going to do other dates in Texas and Oklahoma. Including April 20th in San Angelo, May 4th in Lawton, July 20th in Houston. I wonder where they're going to be in Houston. August 11th in New Braunfels, and September 15th in Midland. And there's a bunch of dates in Branson because Mickey Gilley, he owns that Shanghai Theater in Branson.
Yeah, and Johnny lives up there in Branson, so
it's going to be great, man. Because I've seen them separately, and I've seen their tour together. I saw them at Stafford Center. A couple years ago, and they had all the videos and all that stuff going. It was really good production value, but it was really cool. But seeing both of them independently play down there at the Redneck Country Club, it's just been awesome.
I was working on a movie with John and them, and they were both in it. So I walk into the room, and them three, John Schneider, Mickey Gilley, and Johnny Lee.
Well, Mickey Gilley got to kiss Daisy Duke on the Dukes of Hazzard.
So these guys all go way back, but when you get them two in the room together, oh man, it is hilarious. The stories you can get them to tell.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Oh man, I was just. There's I have to tell you later, but
later. No, this is internet radio.
We were shooting the scene in this movie, and Johnny Lee plays a bounty hunter, more or less. You know, he's out there trying to find these escaped convicts, and we're shooting this horrible scene in the barn, and it's raining, and Johnny's not in the scene, so he doesn't have anything to do that day. So he comes from his trailer. He's in his shorts and a t-shirt, and a 6-pack of beer and a chair. He just sits there, just drinks beer, and just laughing all the way. Man, it was just such a
That's
great.
awesome. Well, I have seen Johnny without his rhinestone jacket on, and it throws you off a bit.
Yeah, it does.
It does throw you off a bit to see him there, because you know it's him, but that's not him.
Yeah, that's there's a few tattoos there.
Yeah, man.
He's an old Navy guy, though, man. He's an old Vietnam vet.
He's a beast, dude. He's awesome. But I don't know what I'm doing this weekend. I might have to change my plans and go down there and try to. I know I'm for sure it's sold out. If it's not, go to redneckcountryclub.com and see if you can still get tickets for that show, because
I don't know.
I'm sure it's going to be a one hell of a night.
It is. I've seen them both separately, and I've had the opportunity to talk to them together. But I know, Johnny still puts on a kick-ass show.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he is up there all night. His band is awesome as well.
He still flirts with the girls at the merch table.
Oh yeah, all the time. And his sister's usually there, Janet, and it's just a lot of fun. Great shows, and it's you can't ask for anything better. And then if you got an anniversary or a special occasion, if you're there, just go tell Janet, and she'll slide him a note, and he'll make your night.
Yeah, he will. So here's a cool little quote that I was just reading. Mickey Gilley said, "I am thrilled to have the opportunity to tour once again with my good friend. The urban cowboy craze has kept my career alive for all these years, and every night when I go to bed, I thank John Travolta for my amazing career. At 81, I'm still rocking."
You gotta love it, man. It's a lot of these older guys. They're not going to be around forever, and I know
we've seen that in the last couple of years.
And even some of the younger ones. Lori White passed away yesterday. An amazing talent. That's Chuck Cannon's wife, a singer-songwriter that we work with, and all of that. And she just passed away. She had terminal cancer, and,
right?
But it was just like, wow, bam.
Yep.
It was so
you don't know, man.
You never know. So you get out there and support these live musics, and go
see them while you can.
See them while you can.
Yep.
You can listen to their music on whatever format you like to listen into, but going and hearing it live, there's nothing better.
That's the thing about firecrackers, man. It's the you light the fuse goes, and everybody sits there in anticipation to see it go off. But then when it goes off, it's over too soon, and that's just kind of how all these comedians and actors and artists and musicians and all these things that we all love to watch and see. It never lasts long enough, and their careers are usually. I mean, their lives are. I think they burn it up all at once. It just seems like they don't seem to live as long until you get some gold. You get the John Conleys of the world and the Mickey Gilleys of the world and the Johnny Lees of the world, that they last a long time. And then you have the phenomenons that nobody can explain, like the Keith Richards and, and stuff like that.
He's just pickled.
Yeah, he's just pickled. He's marinated. But anyway, but then you have the ones that are just out there that they live a super fast life, and then it's gone. So
gone.
Get out there and support them, enjoy them while you can, because you never know, man. Tomorrow's not promised for sure. So here's another cool thing coming up. What if you could have an up-close and personal concert with some of your favorite Texas Red Dirt artists while sailing the seas?
Oh.
Yeah. September 16th through 23rd. All this information, by the way, comes from TexasMusicPickers.com. September 16th through 23rd this year, the Texas Country Music Cruise. And their lineup is Reckless Kelly, Bart Crow, Jason Eady, Zane Williams, Jake Worthington, Curtis Grimes, Holly Tucker, Jason Cassidy, Austin Alsop, and Glenn Templeton. More artists to be announced, which means I could get a call any day.
Yeah.
Any day. They can just
and
call me.
Those are fun. There's
Yeah.
also another one, if I'm not mistaken, happening at the end of this month, beginning of next month as well. It's a bunch of the heavy hitters from Texas music. I think Jason Boland and a bunch of the other guys. They're all band. Kinky Freeman. I can't even remember the whole list. It's everybody and anybody that's there. I think they're doing one here in the next.
They do
couple
one
of
in
weeks.
Florida. I think they do one in Florida every year.
Yeah, I think this one it's out of. I think you got to fly to Florida to go,
Yeah.
or it might be out of Galveston. I don't know. I don't know which one it is. I just seen it in passing, or somebody mentioned it to me on the internet, and I was
Yep.
like, "Well, hell, I didn't know about that. That'd have been fun."
It would have been fun. There's a great resort down in Cancun that I went to for a wedding, and a lot of the Texas artists go down there and do shows. What it is they're all figured out that they can go play a show and call it, and then they can have a vacation while everybody else comes and pays. And if enough people pay, they get their vacation for free. It's
That's
just like
right.
having a wedding down there. It's great. It's a great idea. I've tried to do it. I haven't done it yet. I would love to go and just say, yeah, I'm having
I
a
think
show.
Caleb even did that down in Belize last summer, didn't
Yeah,
he?
something like that. I mean,
Somebody's got a house down there.
whatever it takes to get on the beach is what I'm saying. I love life on the beach. Anywhere there's water, we covered that already.
Yeah, we covered that.
So, hey, if you're interested in that cruise, go to TexasCountryMusicCruise.com, or if you can't remember that, it's on the Texas Music Pickers website again too. So you can go all there, but. They have, like I said, Texas Music Pickers has a lot of good information. They have a lot of good stuff. They've got some opinion stuff, which I think I read through it. I think there's some cool topics in there we could discuss too. And one other thing they do that's really great is the people that are releasing new singles. The hardest thing is to get traction, like get going. Yeah. And so there's several places you can go, and they're internet based, and so they have a little bit big. They play your songs a little more often, but I don't want to do too much inside baseball, but yeah. So if you get them to play it, you're great. You get a lot of spins right off the bat, and it helps to advertise. But the hardest part is just getting rolling. And so Texas Music Pickers has a really cool thing that they do, and they put out these new singles. They pick a few of the new singles. There's so many of them, but they pick some, and then they ask their fans on Facebook and on Twitter and maybe even on Instagram to vote on who their favorite single is. And then they put that one on their Spotify playlist, and it just gives them a lot more exposure, and it helps them get up. And then they post every week their own Spotify chart. And that's different a little bit than what you're going to see in the Texas Music Chart or whatever else it is, So it's really cool to that they do all that. And so what we're going to do next is if you guys want to go vote on your next favorite single, there's 10 of them actually right now. Do you have the list up handy or no?
I can bring it up here.
I might already have it pulled up on my end.
Week
I
4.
do. I
It's
have
week
it.
4, yeah.
So right now, their singles that you can go vote on are Daryl Dodd, Phineas Rebb, Tanner Fanaglio. I don't know him, and I don't want to mess his name up. Aaron Ironhouse, and Two Gun Hattie, Midland, Robert Stoll, the Powell Brothers. Or is it Stoll or Stowell? Probably Stowell.
I think it's Stowell on that.
Powell Brothers and Sundance Head. So those guys are all out there with new singles, and you can go vote right now for your favorite and help out who you want to help out. We picked 3 of them that we're going to play on break, and maybe you guys like what you hear, and you'll go vote right away. And so thank you, Texas Music Pickers, for all the information you provide out there, and I hope that we can get you guys in the studio really soon. But
Yeah, sure.
It'd be a lot of fun for sure. And we're gonna start it off. We're gonna play the Wide Open, and is the name of the band, and the title is Long Road Home. Follow that by Sundance Head and then Tanner. So if you like any of these songs, go vote. If you want to see, if you're a real big Daryl Dodd fan and you want to see him get back up there on the charts, go vote for Daryl Dodd. It's all up to you guys, the listeners. So thank y'all. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
I don't know, but I've been told Lucifer's heart is mighty cold. If I die before I wake, Honey, tell me true. He'll be there for I do. He'll be standing by those gates. Gotta let me in case I'm late. Well, it's gonna be a long road to get back home, yeah. Long road to get back home, all right. Long road to get back home. Well, it's gonna be a long road to get back home. Oh, bring it home. Once I was a gypsy soul, rebel born to rock and roll, looking for an open road to spread my wings and fly. Freedom was another town, lift 'em up and bring 'em down. Another song, another round, hanging out and getting high. Oh, what have you done to me? I'm someone I never thought I'd be. Now I sing a different tune underneath a different moon, wishing on a brand new start. Now I see that you ain't got nothing, so you got everything to lose. Till you finally find the home, you don't know the cost of being gone. I'm out here on my own, you are on my mind. Now I know the strength it takes to gracefully keep the faith. Faithfully the love we made is in this heart of mine. Oh, what have you done to me? I'm someone I never thought I'd be. Now I sing a different tune underneath a different moon, wishing on a brand new start. Now I see the truth. You ain't got nothing till you got everything to lose. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord your soul to keep. Now I sing a different tune underneath a different moon, wishing on a brand new start. Now I see the truth. Once I was a gypsy soul, a rebel born to rock and roll. Now I'm just headed home to you. You ain't got nothing, but you got everything to lose. Oh, you ain't got nothing, so you got everything to lose. tired of trading dollars for dimes. Well, there's nothing but weeds growing all around. What used to be the staple of this town. Some say it's a black hole, and it'll stop you where you stand. Some it's all they've ever known, nothing short of the promised land. But to me, this town is an all-night party that never got planned. My first ride in a cop car with two of my best friends. This town is church on Sunday where I bow my head and pray. This town is everything. Yeah, that made me who I am today. There's an old patch just north of town where my daddy broke out, where my daddy broke down. He lost a lot of blood, sweat and tears. So this will make a young man feel old, working out here. Some say it's a black hole, and it'll stop you where you stand. Some it's all they've ever known, nothing short of the promised land. But to me, this town is an all-night party, never got planned. My first ride in a cop car with two of my best friends. This town is church on Sunday where I bow my head and pray. This town is everything. It made me who I am today. This town is an all-night party, never got planned. First ride in a cop car, two of my best friends. This town is church on Sunday where I bow my head and pray. This town is everything. It made me who I am today.
Classic Galveston.
If you've had an accident or just a fender bender, the last thing you need to do is tangle with the big city. When Classic Auto Group Collision Center can take care of all your repairs, island style, our certified technicians can repair any make or model, and we back up every repair with a lifetime warranty. Classic Auto Group Collision Center, now open at 6601 Harborside Drive, ClassicGalveston.com.
Classic Galveston, enjoy the difference. Island style.
All right, welcome back, folks. We were enjoying the music ourselves. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that was some awesome stuff.
Go to TexasMusicPickers.com and vote for your favorite new single. These guys are really dedicated to getting in. I was reading through their bio and stuff and just trying to get to know more about them, but they're really dedicated to getting into bands that are at the ground floor still. They want to see the bands that are out there playing for tips, for gas money, for 5 people, and then be able to know them when they break through and do well, you know?
Yeah.
They're not just out there trying to promote the big guys. They're really wanting to promote the little guys and make them big, or help make them big in their own little way.
Well, that's the thing, and it's also growing the overall market. I was reading some of the other stuff that they've put out, some of the technical stuff, and about where the growth is coming from, where who's consuming Texas country, the Texas music, and it's actually growing more from outside of Texas, Oklahoma,
right?
Red Dirt scene from everywhere, from big cities to small towns and everything else. There was some really great data, on that.
They got
California. And
Missouri, Illinois,
and Denver and everywhere else, and
then even around the world too.
Yeah.
They were showing they had a 52% growth in the United Kingdom, 47% growth in Canada. Apparently the Germans don't like us that much anymore. They lost some there, but Australia, they had a 90%. I know whenever I release singles, and I haven't done one in a while, but I was releasing singles there, pretty consistently. Australia loved it. They would just pick it right up, and I was like, "Oh, bring me to Australia, then! Come on, let's go,
let's go, man! Hey,
Any chance to go to Australia?
To spend our winter, which is their summer. Yes,
exactly. So I have new neighbors, and they're from Australia.
Oh, great!
And so they said the hardest part, or one of the weirdest things about me living in Texas, is that it being cold during Christmas, because they're so used to it being warm. Yeah. It was that's crazy to think of. I mean, we have warm winters, obviously, and we've had some warm Christmases too.
Yeah, I've gone swimming on Christmas Day,
but not middle of summer hot Christmas. No. That's just insane.
But think about it. It's like it would be in July. Total opposite June, July time frame of the year. So, yeah, it's quite warm down there for Christmas. It's kind of weird.
It's kind of hard. Yeah, it feels like you should change the name, but no, it's still Christmas. It still means exactly what it's supposed to mean. But so I mentioned one of those founders of the Texas Music Players, Chris Fox, and so he was their contributor. Now they have Katie Key, and now they have a new lady, which I would have to go back on my computer.
It's Christina Ramirez.
Yeah, Christina Ramirez.
She's from Austin.
Yeah.
She's an Austin singer-songwriter.
In that group.
Yeah, that whole groove over in Austin, which is, that I-35 corridor, everything from Waco to San Antonio. It's just like one big town now. I mean,
right.
It's one big long shopping mall.
So she should bring some pretty good insight. I know that Mike over there at Pacific Yard House is wanting to get a lot of those people to come play in Conroe. So within the sound of my voice, if y'all are some of those Austin pickers, there's a place for you here. They Pacific Yard House wants to start bringing some of that Austin Hill Country music over to Conroe, and he's willing to feed you well and maybe give you a hotel and all that. I'll let you take the details up with him, but there's a place for you here. They want to do that, and if you guys want to be a part of my songwriter showcase night on Wednesdays, just hit me up, and we'll arrange that. And
we can stream it for all your fans, and we can do all sorts of neat stuff with that. So it's the singer songwriter showcase on Wednesdays that you're doing. That's going to be it's going to take off. I know Wednesdays is kind of a weird day, for some reason. And a lot of these guys that play and are playing music and are doing these things still have day jobs too. So.
They still have day jobs, and like a lot of my buddies, they have regular gigs every day of the week. I mean, that's how they pay their rent. If they don't have a day job, then that's how they pay their rent. And so they've already got shows Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yep. And but you get in there, with enough advance. And I've already talked to my buddy Matt Parrish with Market Junction. He's into doing a show, and got my friend Amy Krausen now. I'm trying to get her to come do a show too. But those middle of the weeks with those people with day jobs, it's or if you got family and kids in school, and it's hard, it's rough. But we're going to get it, and we're going to do it right, and we're going to have cameras, or at least one camera, maybe eventually multi-camera.
Yeah, we'll have multi-cameras, and then there's all sorts of stuff that we're working on and trying to bring forward and be able to, if you can't catch it, can't be there, you can at least still watch and kind of get an idea for what's going on.
And then I'm going to run contests too through the streaming video to where to get you all off your butt from watching the streaming show and come in, and there'll be something in it for you. Maybe if you come into the show, and those instructions will be given during the live broadcast. So I'm not giving it away now. It's the only way you'll know. How can I get free crawfish? Listen to the live streaming if you're not at my show. That's it. In other words, never tune out from me. Pay attention to me at all times.
You never know what's coming around the corner. You know,
Yes.
there's always something good coming. So
Always expanding the brand and putting my voice out there where I can, for sure.
yeah, you got to. Yeah, and that's the thing about being able to play in all these different markets and having these, Wednesday nights or these, what some places consider their off nights. It's not a Friday or Saturday night. The crowds are, it's a little smaller, but it's a lot more fun too. It's
Right.
more intimate, and you can, it's not, it gets you out there. I mean,
Yep.
it gets these new artists and gets them coming over from, Austin
Different-
and San Antonio, and, and
Even
all
if we
these
can just get
different
some
areas.
more Cypress artists over here. Because,
Yeah.
there's
I mean,
these
that's
little
a-
pockets of musicians that are real talented, but what we, I know I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for any other artist. But for me, there's a benefit to playing shows within a certain radius of your house so that it's not costing you gas and too much time to go do that show
Certainly,
during
yeah.
the week. And then on the weekends, you go and do your big stuff and make your big money shows. But if you're going to be playing every night of the week, if you only make $150, but it costs you $20 in gas to get there and $15 in tolls, and
Yeah.
you got, it stops being worth it. So
real quick.
yeah, so to have a place that you can go and these Cypress people can come over here and play, and then these people can maybe go to Cypress. I don't know, but just getting other people in different pockets and different fans. I mean, that's all it's about. Just get new fans and new places, and then eventually it builds and builds and builds.
Yeah, because we, the Woodlands people could come up here even. I mean, the Woodlands and Conroe, it's almost two different places, even though it's connected, but it's truly
Man.
almost two different, it's
You're
two different
right.
worlds. It really is.
I used to joke when I lived in Houston. I used to joke about the loopers, and people were like, "The loopers." And I was like, anybody that lived inside the 16 loop,
yeah.
they won't go outside of it, even if it's just. They won't even cross it to go to the Galleria, but usually they won't even do it to go there. They're just like, nope, that's outside the loop. I'm like, it's one exit. Not going.
No, they're not going anywhere near
And
that.
now
road.
I'm finding myself being that way with living here in the Woodlands. I'm like, that's in Conroe. They're like, it's 5 miles. That's still in Conroe.
I go the back way, so it doesn't bother me. And I'll run up to Huntsville and stuff.
Even I'm in the north end of the Woodlands, and then there's the south side of the Woodlands, and it's maybe a 10-mile stretch on the freeway.
yeah.
But to get me to go to the south part of the Woodlands, you're out of your mind.
Yeah, you're not going to go hit Rayford Sawdust
No,
for anything.
I'm not going
are
to
you?
drive down to Rayford Sawdust for nothing. Like that literally happened the other day. I was looking for something for my son. And I went to Hobby Lobby. I went to Michael's. And they said, well, maybe there's one at Hobby Lobby. I said, well, then I got to drive all the way to Conroe. And they go, no, there's one right there at Rayford Sawdust. And I was like, I don't want to drive
all the way
there
to Conroe.
either. Yeah, I'm going to have to drive all the way to Conroe.
And
So-
then, God forbid, if you have to go to Spring.
Oh,
that's
I know.
only one more exit down, but oh man, that is just there's a
that's-
stretch of freeway there that you just got to give up.
It's
Yeah,
hellacious, man. Yeah, that stretch
it's
between the
bad.
mall and 99 is just terrible.
It's god awful.
You don't want to fight it any day of the hour, or any hour of the week, any day of the week. It's just terrible.
Yeah,
But
I'd rather drive from it's quicker for me to drive to Bryan College Station than it is to drive to Houston.
yeah, that's a true story.
It's twice as far, but
Yeah.
it's just same amount of time.
But a
So-
lot more pretty when you get to your destination.
yeah, and I get to see my daughter over at A&M. So,
Well, that's
but
good.
and I work with some other production companies over there and
Mm-hmm.
do stuff for them. And I mean, I'll go to Huntsville, and that's
Right.
I went through your old stomping grounds there the other day.
Oh yeah,
I
up the
drove
New
there.
Waverly and stuff.
Oh yeah, I took 75 up. I didn't want
Yeah.
to feel like jumping on the interstate, so hell, half that stretch is 70 anyway. It's the same speed. It's actually faster. On the speed limit's higher on a 2-lane blacktop than it is on the interstate through that between New Waverly and Huntsville.
Yeah.
It's 65 on the interstate and it's 70 on the 2-lane.
That's right. That's how we do.
You gotta love Texas. You get on some of these roads, it's 75 on a 2-lane blacktop, and it's like
Or you get out there to the tollways out there in Austin, San Antonio. It's 85.
Yeah, and I-10 in some places outside of San Antonio and west of San Antonio, it's 85.
There's a road that I don't believe. I think it's a joke. So it's in Dodge, the road in Dodge, when you're taking 190 to Livingston, and it's a cutoff to Dodge, Texas, Dodge is tiny. I don't even think they put the population on the sign. It's just tiny. It's nothing. But you turn onto this little road, and it's a 2-lane road, no shoulders. And the second you turn onto it, it says 70 miles an hour. And there's houses and almost like a neighborhood, but a rural neighborhood. And it's 70 miles an hour right off the bat. And every time I see that, I'm like, there's no way I'm driving 70 on this road. I'm not going to kill myself. And I don't think anybody really drives 70 because you know how you can get on the road and you can just kind of feel what would be safe?
Safe, yeah.
70 does not feel safe on this road.
There's a couple of them that I've been on
bumpy.
like that.
It doesn't have that shoulder, so the edges of the road are kind of cracking and breaking off. And
It's like 75 up there. It's a 2-lane blacktop, no shoulder, and there's a ditch and trees.
Yeah.
Man, and it's 70 miles an hour, and I'm like, yeah.
Maybe I'll drive down the middle.
And there's a lot of traffic on there.
Yeah, if I drive down the
It's
middle,
like
maybe
crazy.
it's safe. It's nuts, dude. And then you never know up there. You don't know if you're gonna have a tractor pulling a big old load of hay.
Yeah, you never know what's coming out there. But there's some other great blacktops, and you go up the back way to around Lake Livingston and all of that. There's some great roads out there that you can just go on there.
Right.
They're beautiful 2 lanes with shoulders, and the cops will get out your way because they're not in any hurry. They'll pull over. Hey, I see.
Yeah.
First time I did that when I moved to Texas, and I was passing a cop, they pulled over. I was like, oh shit. What's going on?
I'm in
They
trouble.
don't do
now.
that in
Is he
Florida,
laying
man.
spike strips down? What's he doing?
Then blue light's gonna come on. Am I speeding? What's the speed limit?
What's going on for real? So I got I don't know if it's a funny story or if it's a sad story. It's funny, I'm gonna say, but I have to apologize to my dad in advance because he is gonna be on the radio with this story. So my dad, the hard-headed farmer, we went fishing the other day. And we've been fishing in Lake Conroe. We had his fish finders dialed in by a professional in Lake Conroe.
Oh.
All right. It cost me a good money. Spent a whole day, 8 hours out there doing this. It's a process.
Yeah.
And it was great. So we go to Lake Livingston because we're going to actually have, for the first time ever, a Fuller family reunion. And we've never done that before, ever, in my life. And so we're going to have a family reunion, but we're also going to make it a fishing tournament. So it's going to be a Fuller family fishing frenzy, whatever you want to call
there
it.
you go. Yeah, just watch those F words.
And there's so many F words. But anyway, so we were going to go up and kind of start scouting out the area because we don't fish up there much. If he fishes up there a lot, but he's usually below the dam, and this is on the north end up on Alaska. Yeah. And so we were going to go map everything out and kind of look at everything. And he's got a fancy new trolling motor that kind of drives itself. It stows itself. It deploys itself. It's cool, And I'm up there kind of messing with the trolling motor while we're driving out. Now, it was cloudy. It was 50 degrees, and the wind was blowing. We had probably 3 or 4 foot whitecap waves out there. We're just rocking, just...
That'll beat you up.
Oh, it was killing us. And so I'm trying to drive the trolling motor, and I keep looking back, and my dad's like messing with stuff. And I'm like, now, Dad, I told you don't be messing with those buttons. Don't go. And my dad's not crazy. I mean, my dad's in his right frame of mind and everything. It's just that he's hard-headed, and he thinks he can do everything. And he can to a point.
He's just like
he's a jack
else.
of all trades. Right. But when he's a man. So when there's a button there, it's got to be pushed. So we're driving, and normally on Lake Conroe, usually I'm able to keep my eye on him. Kind of, I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm doing." No, don't do that.
Yeah.
So somehow I get into this false sense of security, or this maybe I was just hypnotized by the waves as we're driving out. And I look back, and he's just steadily just pushing buttons. I was like, "What are you doing now?" He's like, "Oh, I think I'm just trying to see which color palette works." I was like, "Dad, we've been on the same color palette for 2 months. Like, why even change the colors?" And he'd go, "I think I like this one." I was like, "That's the one it was on," And he just kept doing stuff like that. It started to get to be a running joke because every single time I'd ask what's going on, it was, "Oh, I'm just messing with the colors."
Color palettes. Yeah, you should have done something right.
Right. So then I hear him holler at my brother. He's like, "Hey, Sam, come over here and look at this. Why can't I find my side scan or my down scan?" And so my brother's like, "Here, just get up. Let me look at it." So he's looking through it. Now, my brother wasn't there the day that we learned all about this technology. It was just me. Well, I'm up at the front of the boat with the trolling motor. So now my brother's there with all the new shiny buttons. And he can't figure it out either. So we finally get somewhere. I was like, well, we got to get out of these waves. So we fire up the big motor and we drive out. Now, there's a lot of stumps, fields, and stuff. That's why we're using a trolling motor anyway. So we fire up the big motor. We go to where it's a little bit more protected cove, and we're not rocking as much. So then I go back there to the depth finder, and I start messing with stuff, and I'm going, What did this screen come from? All of a sudden, I've got a 3D view of the buildings around me, and it's all like I'm on street level on Google or something. You know, I'm going, what in the... Where was all this? This has never been here before. What did you do? And he's like, I was just changing. I was trying to clear it up and make it look... And I was like, well, okay. And I'm looking, and there is no down imaging and no side scan, which he spent a lot of money for those two features. And that's the feature... that looks like the 3D sonograms that people get for their babies now. It's kind of got that brownish looking, you know, well, it can be whatever color you want, but and you can change it anytime you want to, apparently. But when you do, you lose the sonogram. So that's what happened. We lost it. It was just gone. Just completely gone. And I'm going through all these settings trying to figure out if you turned it off on accident. Can I turn it back on? There is nothing. The code they use is SI for side imaging and DI for down imaging, and those two letters did not appear side by side at any point in any menu on that thing anymore. It was gone. So we had to do the dreaded default setting reset. Ooh. Yeah. So I did it. We reset the default settings, and I come back up, still nowhere to be found. I was like, oh crap, this is not good. Like, it should be there somewhere, somehow. And I mess with stuff. I'm looking through all the settings again. Nothing. So I restore default again. Why not? Let's just try it again. And then it came back, and all of a sudden it said it had SI and DI, and asked if we wanted to turn it on or off. I was like, oh, finally. So we turned it on, and then I start hiding all these other weird, random, stupid things that I've never seen before. Bird's eye view and street view or whatever you want to call it. And so then I spent the next hour doing everything we did the last time, and we were trying to find structure so I could get it all dialed in. But man, by the time it was all said and done, I had this thing right back to almost, I'm going to say almost as good as, way better, almost as good as it was when we hired the professional to do it. But he luckily he was a good teacher too, because I paid attention when he was doing it, because he didn't just dial it in and just be done. He dialed it in, told me why he was doing it and all this other stuff. And I'm glad he did, because I learned a lot apparently. Hey, so absolutely. I think I could dial in fish finders now.
Hey, if you paid somebody, now somebody can pay you.
Exactly. Except he knows how to find fish with it. I can't find a fish yet. Lake
Livingston's hard.
Since my dad got all that gear, I've caught 0 fish.
Oh man!
And he's caught 2. No, he's gone out a couple times and caught a couple crappie and stuff, but the fish we were hunting for, he's caught 2. And I hadn't caught nothing, because I'm usually too busy pushing buttons to fix buttons that got pushed that weren't supposed to be pushed.
In the first place.
We were out there for 7 hours. I spent 6 hours resetting a dadgum depth finder. But I love you, Dad, and I'm glad you have all that cool stuff. But stop pushing buttons.
Don't push the buttons. I used to do that with broadcast engineer, radio engineer, and something's not working in the studio. Well, quit pushing the buttons.
Right.
These buttons are the only ones you're allowed to push.
Right.
Don't push. You push anything else, something's not going to work.
Exactly. Well, and you were here today. Like, I don't touch any of this stuff. Whenever the show is over, it all goes. It's powered down. The room's locked. No kids are allowed in here except for homework, and there's usually a parent with them. And like, nothing gets touched. And so then I come in, I fire everything up, and we go to start the show, and something's not working. Why?
It
came back.
Those things.
It's a software reboot. So I close the software, a hard reboot of the software, and it works fine. But at least I know that now.
A lot of the software these days is not designed to be up and running 24/7 when your computer goes to sleep and all of that. And
but your computer, for some reason, realizes that when you hit X to close it, it means you want to minimize it but not see it in your taskbar.
Yeah,
it doesn't actually close the program.
No, it doesn't. And so it's
you got to go to File and hit Exit.
Until you get up and spend a lot of money on software, and the high end stuff, then it'll stay up and it'll stay running. And there's some settings and ways you can even mess with 10. That's a little bit better, but 10's still not. We go on about Windows and Windows.
I'm just ready for a computer to just kind of read my mind. Like, I just need a screen that reads my mind but has access to the internet.
That's getting closer. It really is. It's you can. There's all sorts of, you can talk to it, tell it what to do. You know, just like, you know, I got the little Apple Watch. You can tell it, and it'll make your phone do what it's crazy the amount of technology and getting into the, you know, all the stuff that, well, you know, like the live streaming and everything else that we're able to do now. This is a lot of fun, but there is a learning curve to it all, and it keeps it fun, and it gives, you know, musicians and everybody else, anybody that's creative, it gives you so many more outlets and ways to, you know, get your stuff out there. You know, it's changed so much, and then, you know, now we have to start, and, you know, we don't think about, okay, you know, how do I get my, you know, record or song played on a radio? Now we're worried about what, you know, how many formats can I get it on? Not just one, you know, there's all these things, and it's easy to do. You can self-promote, and you can do a lot of stuff yourself. You're not indebted to the record companies or anybody else. I mean, you raise a little bit of money. Yeah, it's not, you know, cheap, but you can produce some really nice, great sounding stuff that's, you know.
The way it is now, the marketing's almost costs as much as the making, because there's so many places that will take your money to advertise your product. And I've done the minimal, and I've done probably not the maximum, but I've definitely done more than I think was worth it at times for certain singles. So you really need to do the research on your kind of what your listener base is listening to. I had somebody, and they may be right, they may be wrong. Because I'm an Apple user, I look at things through an iTunes perspective. But supposedly the market share, according to the person I was talking to, was dominated more by the Amazon Music and by Droid users in the Google store. And so more people get their music through those things. But I in my gut, I couldn't believe that, because I'm an iTunes guy, because I own an iPhone. So it was, where do you market? Where do you put your marketing dollars? Do you really want to push the Google Play, or do you really want to push your iTunes sales? And then how many people listen to Spotify, and then how many people, I mean, obviously I do know that like SoundCloud is not a contender.
No, there's
in
a
that
lot
thing.
that aren't, but
So there's so many places you can put your music. And luckily it's digital though, right? It's not like you're handing people stuff. Like if we still were doing digital CDs and you had to send digital CDs to every single place to get them to put your music out there, that costs you money.
Yeah, and a lot.
But unless they demand you buy a banner ad to get played, it's not costing you anything to just shoot them an email or upload your file. It's not.
They can't do that anyway.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
So
it's called pay for play. There are OCC rules about that.
there really is. Yeah, but we can talk about that off air. I don't want to get. I don't want to get blacklisted.
No, there's you know, group. It's all new mediums and stuff.
Yep.
Nobody can really understand too much of the rules. You know, they're still arguing about, you know, how to pay somebody, you know, for,
I know.
you know, how to record stuff.
They're using
that, you know, and it's like
pre-World War II copyright laws.
And it's crazy, and I think it'll start to work itself out here, you know, in the near future, hopefully, and we can get some stuff settled, and so everybody. You can, you know, all the artists and singers and songwriters, they all get paid. And then you can also actually, you know, have a radio show or have an internet station and actually, you know, make money on it.
Yeah.
And not spend it all.
There's also way more content creators now than there ever was.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So even if they got it all worked out to where it was nice and fair, you're definitely still not going to see as big of a piece of the pie as you used to, because there's just more pieces of pie to give out.
Yeah, this is true. You know, it's grown so much. It's so easy to produce content now, and with that ease comes, okay, well, yeah, you can create content. Now we have to create good content, or, you know, or compelling content, people that you can monetize in one way or another. And then once you start monetizing, okay, well, what's the best way? Well, there's 9 million ways to monetize it. Which one pays the best, and all of that. And, you know, it's just going to be it's a constant curve.
Yep, and it changes all the time.
And it changes, but I think it'll, like I said, it's starting to settle down to some level of sanity.
So I heard a rumor from somebody a while back, and I haven't confirmed it myself, but that iTunes was going to go to streaming only and no downloads, and that once they do that, because they kind of lead the trend, you know, as far as like if you can buy it, if you can download it, if you can stream it or whatever. And so if they actually went to where you couldn't download the songs to own personally, it was just through streaming, that kind of that does away with downloads unless you go and have it on your own website and they can download it from your own website, your own server, you know?
Well, I don't know about whether they're going to do that or not, but it.
I don't either. It's just, it was somebody that told me that, and they were.
When you think about it, all right, it's still downloadable from everywhere because most of the stuff that you know on a larger scale, it's out there. It's on YouTube. They've made a music video. It's whatever. You can download stuff all day long from YouTube for free. You know,
yeah.
and get whatever content. I know it's not right. You need to pay for the music, but. You know, but it's no different than listening on the radio and recording it on a tape, you know, for personal use.
Way back in the day, make our own mixtapes.
I've made plenty, and
I made plenty of tapes where Casey Kasem was doing the top 40, and then I would put my own little cheesy little microphone plugged into the side of the red radio, and I just like do my own little things and. This one's for you.
And then, you know, the technology comes along. I mean, I can sit in my studio and anything that I can stream or listen to, I can record and, you know, real high resolution audio, you know, and put it right onto a CD. I can burn it live to see, you know, I mean, I have a lot of toys, but everybody's got this.
I saw somebody put a tweet out, or it may have been, I think it was a quote of somebody that was a tweet, and they said the good thing is that anybody can make a record these days. The bad news is everybody does.
Yeah, there's a lot. I heard a couple that I had to question why I was even listening to it.
Well, and I'm sure that there is and it's probably more than I would want to know, but I'm sure there's plenty of people out there like, what was this guy thinking when I released any of my albums? You know, it is what it is, but it's suggestive. Not everybody's going to like it.
No, nobody. You don't have to, but if you find a niche in your market, make it. It doesn't matter if I like it or not.
There's so many people.
Difference, and it shouldn't make a difference to you who likes it or who doesn't. As long as one other person likes it, make it.
Yeah, true.
Make it for your damn self.
Willie Nelson said in his book, the "Roll Me Up and Smoke Me When I Die" books, somebody asked him a question about what. If you critiqued another songwriter's song or something, and what would you expect that artist to say, or how would they react if you gave them like bad feedback or something like that? And he said, well, I would hope if they're worth anything, if they're worth a grain of salt kind of deal, I'm paraphrasing, I'm not quoting, was that their response would be, well, who the hell's Willie Nelson? You know? So we do need to do it for ourselves as artists. But we also have that urge to please everybody, you know. I mean, at least I do. Not all of them do. I know plenty of my friends that when they say they don't care what anybody thinks, they really don't. And they're entertainers. Uh-huh. And if they just don't care. They're going to play what they want to play, and they're not afraid to tell people, don't ask me for a cover. I only play originals. They're fine with that, and their fans love them for it. If I get halfway snarky, people turn on me, man. They turn on me quick. I'm all polite and stuff usually.
Yeah. You're you and they're them, and that's the way they want to do things, and they've probably always been that way, so that's what they expect, and you know you are the way you are, and everybody else is too, and you know everybody's got their little niche in the market, and people like it or they don't, and if you can make a living at it, it's even better. And that's the hardest thing is, you're doing what you love to do and what you want to do. And even if you're just starting out, and your goal is to make a living at it. And,
well, I think everybody's goal when they first start is they just want to play music, get drunk, meet women, and get paid to do it. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, wow, I can actually make good money doing this, or I can get more fans. And so that's when they start getting a little more serious. My personal journey started off with not the women part, because I've been with my wife since I was 18. But yeah, man, free alcohol, I'm in, dude. And
free alcohol.
I can be the life of the party and all that other good stuff, and that meant something to me at the time. And I guess it kind of had its own value in a way. And then a couple kids later and all that good stuff. So my first album, and I was going to mention this earlier, most of the people that have known me for a while, that for some reason are brave enough to tell me what they really think, They're like, they love my first album way more than my second album. They're not too hip on my second album. And the weird thing to me as the songwriter is that my songwriting in the second album was way better.
Yeah.
And then the songwriting in my first album I was still a rookie. I was an amateur, and I just wrote about drinking beer. And it's funny that and it was recorded well for the circumstances I had, but it was definitely recorded in it wasn't the high quality recording. Let's put it that way. I'm very happy with it. I'm still proud to own that CD. It's my CD. I made it. It's great. But when it comes to quality of that and what can come out at studios these days, and it's a lot different. And people just like that first album better because it's just simple. It's kind of your typical bar room. It still was in the vein of the old Pat and Corey country, you know.
Yeah.
And but then I had a couple kids. I've experienced a little bit more life, and so my second album was a lot of life experiences, and I was trying really hard to write the songs well and use less words to tell a bigger story, and just all those things. I just fine-tuned the writing style, and I'm way more proud of the writing of that one. But people are like the feel and the vibe and the sound of the first one better.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
You can have great content, the music and the writing and the lyrics and how you put it together, but it's also about how you record it and what it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do it in the garage and you wouldn't go do it in the front yard if it sounds good. I mean,
right.
That's what has been lost a lot of in recording these days.
It has. It's gotten a little too clean.
It's gotten to be this sterile environment where the musicians aren't in the same rooms, and or if they are, it's just one or two of them, and they polish and they go back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
The hell with that. It wasn't done that way. A lot of times old albums that are just Zeppelin albums. There's the first 3 were in studios, 4 was in a house.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a ton of albums that are just sonically and when you get into producing and you're mixing down and stuff that are it as soon as you hear it. It's something that's going to stick with you.
Yep.
And those are the ones, and they were recorded in it was a really cool house in England, but, still, and then there, some Fleetwood Mac stuff that was recorded in some mansions in France, and, there's all of these.
Well, I revisited the Bruce Springsteen Seeger sessions where they recorded in his house. And, they got an orchestra and a horn section and a choir and everything in the house. And they all recorded at the same time. It wasn't track by track. They just said 1, 2, 3, and they did it. And it's such a good album.
It's a great album.
100-year-old songs. Well, now more like 130-year-old songs. But if you haven't listened to Springsteen Seeger sessions, I give it a recommendation for you to listen. Only because the story behind it. Like I bought the CD a long time ago, so I was able to read all the liner notes and all that. But just the story behind the songs themselves and then how they recorded it, it's just cool. It's really cool.
There's another one out there. If you listen to it, if you know who the Cowboy Junkies are.
I don't.
It's they do a little. It's Americana type stuff, but
all right.
And they've been around a long time, and they really really neat group. But they recorded one that's called the Trinity Sessions, and it's some standards and like Blue Moon Revisited and a few other some Elvis stuff. It's just some weird offtakes of some very classic songs and some of their own. And all they did was they went into an old church, hung one mic in the on the stage, and that's it.
Yeah,
and did it all live, and it's just unbelievably cool. And it has it's got its own little vibe to it.
Right.
There's a bunch of other great little stories like that. They come in all sorts of shapes and sizes.
I think there's a place for some of that to come back. Enough creative people. I mean, obviously we have a lot better technology. We can put some good microphones and eliminate some of the echo and the reverb and all that you don't want, but still have that cool live, the Liberty ambiance feel to it. I made it 2 weeks this time without saying ambiance, by the way, because I used it way too many times in one episode.
I remember that.
That was enough and ridiculous. I'm not that educated to use that big words like that many times, but when you're talking about this, it applies. But I think, man, I've got some creativity brewing inside of me that's just completely different than what I want to do, and that reminds me of another thing. So his name escapes me now, but he used to be in charge of Mustang Entertainment back in the day. And he was on a podcast with Phil Pritchett a long time ago. Phil was one of the first guys ever doing podcasts in Texas music. But he was talking. He's like, I've never understood these artists. And I don't know who he's talking about in general, but he's talking about Texas guys. And he's like, they go out and they have an album about drinking beer and partying and passing out and blah, 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 blah. And then they get a little bit of success and all of a sudden they want to get artsy. And I don't know why they, and then people stop listening to them. And I find it funny because I want to do that, not because I want to change anything. It's just that's where I've evolved to. Like, it takes more to turn me on now, I guess. Like the old album. The old album, I like it, and it's still fun to play all those songs, and it's all good. But it's like if I just did that every time I did an album, I'd get bored out of my mind. I want to do something new and exciting, something that challenges me. I don't want to do easy. I want to do something that kind of challenges my vocals, or challenges my songwriting skills, or maybe even teaches me a new lick on a guitar. Or I'm always trying to do something a little bit more challenging, and I think that's why we as artists do that. I think the artists want to continue to challenge themselves. I don't think that they're just trying to.
You're learning and you're gaining experience, and not just in your music or your singing and songwriting, but in your life in general. And so, that's what songwriting is about. You're telling stories usually about your own life or something that that you witnessed in somebody else's life. And
I think I put too much of my real life in my albums.
There's a lot of people that do that. It's autobiographical most of the time.
That second album I did was totally autobiographical. There's not a single song on there that doesn't stem from a real life experience,
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. And you found a creative way to convey that to your audience,
right?
And hey, it doesn't have to be everybody's cup of tea, but there's always room for it. You gotta so you don't. Texas music in general has a bad. I wouldn't say a bad rap about being all just drinking and partying songs and stuff, and there's plenty of that.
What gets on the radio?
Have a good time, but
well, what gets on the radio, whether it be major market or whether it be the independent stuff, is what's going to make people feel good, and everybody feels good when they hear a drinking song, and it's still marketing. It's all marketing. Like if there's a place for a good power ballad, and then there's a place for beer drinking songs all the time, and it's every now and then a song that's kind of in the middle is able to get out there and kind of stand out. But for the most part, it's going to be either a party anthem rock song or I'm going to rip your heart out and watch you have to watch it beat while you cry yourself to death or whatever. But there's several guys out there. I mean, there's the real successful people. Very successful people have found their formula and stuck through it their whole career, and it's fine. But I think that there's another group of artists that can't be satisfied with something that sounds like what they've already done, and I have to continue to push myself, and maybe that makes me artsy. I don't know.
I don't think it makes you artsy. I mean, Ray Wiley Hubbard comes to mind when you talk about that. His early stuff, it was more, blues centric, and Redneck Mother. Come on,
yeah.
I mean, it's 40 years,
right?
40 something years. I forgot.
We'll go with 40.
40 something years ago, and he's still playing the damn song.
Yeah, well, he does it well.
But that's his song, but he also has, his influence have changed over time, and his stories, are changed and all of that, and he introduced slide, and he changed the way he played guitar even over a period of time.
Yeah.
And people still follow along. There's times and there's periods where it's less than more, and then you kind of gravitate. Robert Earl King, which he didn't play yet, but his stuff has kind of shifted over the years, and
that's kind of how I've always done.
That,
like Robert Earl King is great at talking songs, but then he's great at singing songs.
Certainly.
And so and that's kind of how I've kind of always wanted to be. I want my album to have a talking song, a honky tonk song, a rock and roll song. I mean, that's the whole point of Texas music, right? Is that there's no box.
Yeah.
And so my albums don't have a box either. Yeah. And they have a case.
No box.
But no box.
No box. They got a cover, but
I could put two of them in a box and call it a box set. But I don't. I haven't done that yet.
We got to get some of your other stuff on singles now.
Yeah, well, I think so. That's what I was going to talk to you about. So there's a couple different ideas and opinions and strategies, and Chris Fox with Texas Music Pickers has a nice little blog out there about it. About EP single versus LP versus all that stuff.
Albums and stuff, yeah.
And his perspective, if I'm remembering correctly, because I don't want to pick up my phone and read it, was that if you're a young artist just starting out, then if you have an album's worth of great material, like you've sat down, you've written it, it's great, everyone's a winner, then go out and record an album. If you only have 5 great songs and you have 5 other songs, well, just go ahead and make the EP of the 5 strong songs, because there's a lot of new guys out, the Co-Wetzels and all those guys that have come out with EPs, and they just were brutal with them. They dominated. Every song was a hit kind of deal. And so what he was basically saying is, if you have the content to make an album as a new artist, make an album, because people want to know your whole story, and they learn that story through your music and all that. And then he said, come out with a couple albums, and then you could do the thing with the EPs, some singles and stuff like that. And I agree with him for sure, but one of my regrets, and I try to live without too many regrets, but it is that I waited 10 years to record a first album because I couldn't afford it.
Right.
And I really wish I would have gone ahead and just recorded what I could afford at the beginning, do a 4-song, 5-song EP, so that the word of mouth could be getting around when we were new, when we were fresh, and everybody was just meeting us, and they were so excited to help us, and they wanted to do whatever they could to help us, and we had nothing to give them. And then by the time we did have something, those same people are now 10 years older. Mm-hmm. They got families. They stopped going to bars or whatever it is. They're not as excited anymore. They know me. Heck, we've hung out at a bonfire. I'm not the guy on the stage that's like, oh, who is that dude? So that whole, that, I wish I would have done it. And I've always told younger artists, record what you can afford and get it out there as soon as you can.
You need to always, you can have great songs, and if you don't have money, but just to record some singles, your first single, record it, do a good job on it. It ain't gotta be perfect by any means, but the sooner you have something that you can sell at your show, that's merchandising, that's direct money back to you. That's how most bands that are out there working the road today actually pay their bills, as they sell their merchandise, from hats to buttons to t-shirts to CDs and everything else in between that they can possibly think of. Mm-hmm. They're selling you, and because they're not making the money on the downloads and the streams and all of those. So the merchandising, when you support your local artist or your favorite artist, you buy the stuff that they have. Mm-hmm. They make that money directly. That goes right into their gas tank, usually is where it goes. Usually. And then, yes, they spent the money to have it. They've got outlay, shirts aren't cheap, and, good designs. And, they probably had a friend design it or something. It depends where you're at in your thing. But put some merchandising together, put a CD together, anything, even if it's a live recording. That's one thing that drove me nuts, is we kept having people do live recordings, and then I let the live recording, the guy that did the recording, tell me that it wasn't good enough that he didn't want to put it out. And I'm like, give me the files, I'll decide that, because I would rather have people have something. Now, any good manager out there would probably tell you different, and that's fine. But for me, you're starting out, you haven't even conquered your own town yet. Yeah, right? No doubt. If you can get a live recording of y'all playing, and nowadays you wouldn't even hand somebody a CD because they just don't take them. It's got to be digital. But you put it out there, video, any kind of video. I've had a couple videos made, and the guy wasn't pleased with the way the sound was and all that, so I didn't get the videos to put out there. Anything you can give people. People are hungry, and most people are audiophiles now. They want to be stimulated by media file. They want to be stimulated by some kind of media. And even if it's medium quality, they're going to at least watch a little bit of it. If they like you, they're going to click on it. Like, I even clicked on, I'm not saying it was medium quality, but scrolling through the internet, I knew that you were going to do that thing with Caleb the day after we did. So when I saw it, I had to at least watch it for a little bit just to see it. And so people want to see it. They don't want to see 20 minutes of stuff anyway. Nobody's got 20 minutes worth of time. If they do, they need to take laxatives. Yeah.
But most
they got
people,
a TV on their toilet.
yeah, but you know, I think now the way people are consuming stuff, and it's getting quicker and quicker. 30 seconds to a minute is all you need to turn people on for, and you're not pushing it too far.
No, you're not,
and you're giving them enough, and then you just, you know, people can judge by. I mean, if they like it within a minute, they like it. It's good. They'll know in that same minute whether it sucks or not.
Certainly.
You know, if you have to put something out there and say, I know it kind of sucks at the beginning, but wait till the last 2 minutes. Well, then only put the last 2 minutes out there. You can easily edit that.
Editing's stupid simple these days, you know.
But give people something to consume, or else they're not going to come to you for it.
Yeah,
you have to give it to them. And I wish I'd have done that earlier in my career. Now, earlier in my career, it wasn't quite as easy to put all that stuff out there. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I remember when we used to have a musicians organization that we, you know, did a CD every year, you know, of all the different musicians and stuff. And, you know, we didn't have anybody. Me and my brother, and he wrote something on some guitars. I just played some things, and we had a little 4-track, you know, 4-track, you know, tape recorders, and, you know,
Tascam.
And he cut some stuff and gave me the music. I took it over to the house, found a, you know, room, and, you know, plugged it up, and we cut it. And then I did, you know, I spent like, you know, $25 or $30 for an hour and a master, master those little 4 tracks, because it was, you know, it was just, you know, 2 people, and, you know, it came out pretty good. And then, you know, all of the other musicians, you know, they didn't spend a lot of money on it, but it's still, to this day, I still listen to this, you know, I don't listen to my own crap, because, you know, but the other people that were on there, I still listen to. And
I remember having one of those little Tascam 4 tracks and trying to make my own stuff, and my wife would just, I'd be like, listen to this, and she would, and it was horrible, but she would listen, and she wouldn't let me know it was horrible. But yeah, man, we've come so far in such technology. A short amount of time. And I mean, the fact that I can be doing a live radio show from my office, my studio in my house, it's just incredible with very minimal equipment.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, you don't need a whole lot to make something sound really good. You know, you don't need to spend. You know, think about this. The $99 microphone that everybody owns is probably the best live mic ever made.
Yeah.
As a, you know, SM57, you know, they're on every stage.
And then I have the Sennheiser equivalent to that.
Right, yeah,
the EM, whatever.
ME21s or whatever they are. I forgot what they're called. Which you can even, I've got a couple of old, I don't think there's any more Radio Shacks open, but... You know, the older...
That's the microphone you're talking on it right now. Actually, that thing's 15 years old.
I have a couple of really old Radio Shack 57s, but when you open them up, they're Sures.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
I mean, they're exact. I mean, and they're steel body, you know, heavy zinc, you know, alloy bodies and stuff like that. And then, but, you know, I got a full recording set up. You know, I got processors, and I got, you know, like really nice microphones and stuff like that. But you don't need all of that mess. And then, heck, you know, a lot of these smaller studios or someplace like, you know, my setup, they don't charge a lot.
Right.
You know, record some tracks, and, you know, you can take it in there. They'll tell you if it sucks or not, or if they can work with it. And they'll charge you, you know, a few bucks to master it, and, you know, maybe, you know, help you with it a little bit and give you some advice.
At least to start out. Now, eventually, as you go, definitely quality is going to matter, because you're competing with everybody else. And if their quality is better than your quality. And I had one guy in Nashville, and I'm not saying that he's the end all be all, but I gave him both my albums to listen to. And when I was asking him about songs off my first album and his impression of it, he said honestly he couldn't listen to the album. It was too distracting because the quality was just not there. But you ask my fans, friends, whatever you want. I have a weird time saying fans, but you ask the people that listen to my music, and they like the first album better. So it's different strokes for different folks. But when you're in the industry part and you're trying to get to that next level part, then quality matters. It does.
Certainly. I mean, and then by then though, you've learned all those tricks of the trades. You know, you're going, okay,
right. And you hopefully are making money, fans,
and you know, okay, I'm selling T-shirts now. I'm selling stickers. You know, stickers are a great way. You can get a big ass roll of really nice looking stickers that are really nice that you can sell for $1 a pop. All day long, you know. You can get somebody to make you some buttons and stuff, you know.
I've been there. I've done all that.
You know, and that stuff sells too, you know. As long as you've got something, you know, that you can sell, that's cheap. You know,
I think small cheap stuff sells. In my personal experience, small cheap stuff sells way better than hats. I mean, whether they've been shirts, and the hats are the best seller. But you've got to get. Well, I mean, if you need to, Jody Booth started it.
Yeah.
That neon color and that off center branding, but with neon color on a hat, people eat them up. They love them. They absolutely love them. I don't know how long that trend will last. I mean, it's been going now for about 3 years now, but. We can all thank Jody Booth for that little craze because his hats were everywhere, and then now everybody does the little neon print. I had some, and they sold. Those hats sold like crazy, but the problem is I just couldn't keep up, and then I would use that money to do something else, like put a new radio single out, and then I couldn't afford to get more hats.
Yeah,
but shirts, shirts don't really sell that much anymore, and at least in my own experience. But I'm also not. I'm not a huge.
It depends on what where you're at and what market you're in and all of that kind of stuff too. And it depends on the crowd that you're drawing.
Well, at Redneck Country Club, the medium age is a little higher. Yeah. And I had a bunch of blingy shirts made up with the rhinestones, and those things sold like hotcakes there. But then you go and you play at a college town, they're like, "What's all this stuff?"
Yeah, we don't want that. Yeah, we can go. We go down to the. They ain't got any money anyway.
Yeah.
Just when my daughters are college.
No, they don't. That's why they need the cheap stuff, cheap stuff.
They don't mind. People don't mind buying stuff. I don't ever mind buying.
No, if they love their artist, man, I've had certain people that they've already bought my album, but they'll still come and buy. They'll buy like 5, or if I got new shirts, they'll buy 5 shirts just because they want to help the band, and then they give them away to whoever.
Yeah, they'll give them as gifts or whatnot. Turn somebody onto the music too.
I say, if you're going to do that, just give a tip. I mean, because we can give the shirts away. Yeah, just give us the tip. Give us the. I've been doing that now with my CDs because the physical copy of the CD just doesn't seem. People just don't seem to want a physical copy. They're like, "Oh, we'll get it on iTunes, or we'll stream it." Is usually what they're going to do, and I'm not going to get that much. But you're hoping to get that $5 from that CD, or $10 from the CD, really. But so now I just put them out there, and I just put the tip jar right next to the CD, and I'm like, "Come take a CD. If you leave a tip, take a CD, whatever that CD is worth to you." And I wind up better that way. A lot of people are paying $20 a CD for it because they just put a 20 in, take the CD. They're getting better value, right? They were just going to tip because they like the song I was playing. Now they're getting a CD. Yep. And I'm not saying that's the best business model for everybody.
No.
But I think I literally will say, "Hey, we're new in your town. Come take a CD. It's free." And they're like, "Oh, I don't even know where to put one." They just don't want to. They don't want that physical CD anymore. It's just clutter. So
well, the Apple says the format of a disc is dead.
Yeah.
They were no longer supporting anything disc media.
My computer my Mac doesn't even have a CD-ROM.
No, and they don't support it.
Yeah.
And they won't support it. I mean, they still sell the external drives, but not for long.
There's no need for it anymore. I mean, you can get everything online and
streamed, and it's all digital, and that's where we're going. And that's
this
part
PC
of it,
I have, the CD-ROM broke 2 years ago, and I've gotten many a new program, but they're all online. I don't need to even. So I hadn't even worried about getting the CD-ROM fixed. I don't even think I ever used it. I think one of the kids pulled it out and thought it'd be a great little thing to play on or something. But anyway, I don't know. But hey, guys, we've reached the end of the show today.
Oh, yeah, we sure have, haven't we?
We went off on a tangent or two and rambled on, and that's what we do here.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Hopefully it's at least a bit entertaining and informational at the same time.
If it's not entertaining, at least me and you can remember we had this conversation, because my short-term memory sucks. I can't remember any of this stuff that we talk. I mean, when I talk to people, especially like people that want to book a gig or something,
I'll forget a name in a minute.
Yeah. Or I'll forget what we talked about. They'll be like, "Yeah, man, we'll come on down here on the 25th. We'll take good care of you, give you $1 million and 20 packs of beer and all the whiskey you can drink." And the next day I'll be like, "What did he say? Did he say $100? What was it?" I can't remember. You can give me the incentive of $1 million, I still won't remember that conversation. So anytime I'm talking business, it has to be through email. Because I won't remember. I have to have a written documentation of what's going on. My head's too full of lyrics. I can't remember anything else.
I have to have it. Things remind me of it.
Something there to remind me. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining in. And if you like the show, please tell somebody to listen to it, because I enjoy doing it, but I'd love to enjoy doing it more for more people. So Wednesdays, we're live 1 to 3 p.m. KTXF The Real is what you look for when you get your TuneIn app. And then, as Randy mentioned earlier, I will podcast each episode that I can remember to hit the archive button, which I did. and we put it out there for posterity. I always get it wrong.
Yeah,
Hopefully prosperity too,
yeah,
but
prosperity is always good. Posterity,
and posteriors. But
Yeah.
anyway, so thanks for joining in to our show today, and we will see y'all next week. Thanks a lot.
Used to spend my nights in old saloon, drinking beer, listening to tunes. Sometimes one would grab me by the soul. Got guys like Pat and Corey, they could always tell a story. You feel the wind in your hair and the highway rushing by. Well, I seen them in the smoking bars, and I listened on to them all in my car. It wasn't a song they played I couldn't sing. When I saw them up there on the stage, and I heard the women scream their name, you know I couldn't help but dream it might be me. So it's Bud Light toast all around, getting lost in that Texas sound, being dance hall dreamers, fighting the Nashville blues. We got Everclear, love sangria wine, and we always have a real good time. There's nothing like a Saturday night in Texas. Everyone felt like a brother. Somewhere out there was a redneck mother who would sing Bojangles as we were getting by. And old Willie, who could ever forget? Well, he wrote almost all the songs on the internet. So it's Bud Light toast all around, getting lost in that Texas sound, being dance hall dreamers, fighting the Nashville blues. Got Everclear and love sangria wine, and we always have a real good time. There's nothing like a Saturday night in Texas. Well, it's Bud Light toast all around, getting lost in that Texas sound, being dance hall dreamers, fighting the Nashville blues. Got Everclear and love sangria wine, and we always have a real good time. There's nothing like a Saturday night in Texas. There's nothing like a Saturday night in Texas.
Bye, y'all.